Yeah. Sorry to start the recording late because I won't send you the recording today, right? I was just being generous yesterday because I know some people won't attend and then they will think that they get the recording. There's no recording today. We won't get it. So,
Well, can I speak to you?
sorry?
Can I ask something?
Yes, you can.
Didn't you say your basal and your spinozium are the ones that have dead cells? That's question number one. Then question number two
Wait,
is
wait, wait,
what
wait.
is mainly
Repeat the first question.
the first question is didn't you say your basal and your spinozium?
I can't hear you clearly.
Okay. In the 5 layers of the epidemic,
Yes.
no? I get it, you said your basal and your spinozium are the ones that have dead, dead, dead cells. Those are the dead layers.
No.
No.
No. The second question, I'll explain the first question.
Okay. Then the second question is, say maybe we did not understand, I don't know, whatever that is happening in this session. Since you're saying you are not recording today, so now we are going to suffer because of people who are taking chances of not attending. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, I get you, but you're taking notes right now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if you are attending right now and you didn't understand something, it wouldn't be the case that you didn't understand everything I said, because I said to you, you shouldn't wait for me to finish the session to tell me that you don't understand. While I'm doing something, if you don't understand, you stop me and explain.
Yes, okay. Going back to the first question, ne?
Yes.
Actually, me saying basal and spinozium are not the dead layers.
They are not.
That's
Yes, they
wrong.
are not. Yes.
How? Because you said the basal has two types, your keratinocytes and your melanocytes, as
Yes.
well as stem cells. Isn't it the keratinocytes, the most abundant ones?
Okay. Listen, I get you. Thank you. I'm glad you asked that
Yeah.
question. Now listen to
Okay.
me. Those keratinocytes that are in the basal and in the stratum basale, they will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me do this. I think this will explain it better. Okay, I said that we have stratum basale here, right? This is your stratum basale. This is your stratum spinosa, right? And then you have your stratum granulosum here. You have your lucidum, and then you have your cornea, right?
Yeah.
And then I said to you, somewhere here, you have your keratinocytes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your melanocytes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's assume these are your stem cells, right? We're still on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
These
Yes, yes.
keratinocytes here, they are still living. Why are they still um, living? Because remember down here, what do we have? We have our dermis, and our dermis has what? Has blood vessels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I said the blood vessels contain nutrients. So these blood
Nutrients.
vessels will give nutrients to all these cells, to all these cells here. Meaning all of the cells here, they are alive because they receive nutrients. They are closer to the dermis, and the dermis has blood vessels. Are we clear?
Okay.
Okay, so now as these keratinocytes ascend to the top of the skin, they lose the nutrients because they are now not closer to the dermis. So when they get to the to stratum spinosum, they are still alive. Are we clear?
Mm-hmm.
When they get to stratum granulosum, they are still alive, but this is where we start seeing something interesting. Thank you. I'm glad you brought this question because I wasn't going to tell you this. When you get to your stratum granulosum, we have something.
Yeah. You have what?
Yeah. Let me try to erase this and then explain. Yeah. When you get to stratum granulosum, we have what we call cell apoptosis.
Yes, that's when the cell self-destructs, so almost.
Yes. So if it happens, they ask you, because they like this question, if it happens, they ask you, where does cell apoptosis occur in one of the layers? It's stratum granulosum, right? Meaning that the keratinocytes are alive, all from stratum basale to stratum spinosum. When they get here, because what is apoptosis? If they ask you what is cell apoptosis, that is programmed cell death, right?
Yes.
Programmed cell death. So they are programmed. They are programmed that when they get to this layer, they must start to die. Meaning, how do they die? I told you yesterday, they start to lose the nucleus, they start to lose certain organelles, right? And in addition to that, they are not closer to these blood vessels. So they lost nutrients, and without nutrients, they can't live. So we have more than one reason as to why this is programmed, right? They are meant to die when they get to that level, but they are not yet dead. Do you get me?
Okay.
Another question they might ask you is, what is or where does which layer, right, where the transition between living to dead happens? That again, the question to that answer again will be granulosum. When the cells are at stratum granulosum, they are not yet dead, but they are transitioning from being alive to being dead, right? So it's just a stage. They are transitioning from one stage to another. And then when those cells get to stratum lucidum, already they are dead.
Okay.
When they get here, already they are dead. And then they will get to stratum corneum, already they are dead. There's no resurrection, I told you yesterday, right?
Yes. Okay,
Meaning
I
that
get it now.
when you're looking at the skin of someone, all you're looking at is dead cells. When you're looking at your own skin, the only thing you're looking at is dead cells. Are we clear?
Okay. Yes.
Nice.
Very clear.
I'm
Thank
glad. So with that being said, you now understand why these two layers. Guys, if I'm glad, thank you for opening. You're the first to ask the question. Others, please ask, good people. We are not in a rush to finish this chapter. It's useless to finish the chapter if you don't understand, right? So if you don't understand something, no matter how simple it appears to be in your eyes, please ask. So with that being said, again, I'll repeat, these two layers, the first two, your stratum lucidum and your stratum corneum, those ones are the ones which have dead cells. They are the only ones which have dead cells. Are we clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. So meaning that even the reason why your skin is hardened, right? It's because of this keratin. Because again, when these cells die, when they transition or when they undergo apoptosis, oh, I wrote apoptosis. It's apoptosis. Include the P there. It's apoptosis, right? When they undergo apoptosis, they lose the watery fluid in them, they lose nutrients, they lose a lot of stuff. Obviously, when you did the cells and the tissues chapter, you did the structure of the cell. You know the diagram of the cell, right? So imagine if a cell loses all of those inner organelles, right? The only thing that will be left is the pigment that was inside. What is that pigment? Remember, these are
Melanin.
remember that these are keratinocytes, right?
Oh, keratin.
Yeah, so the pigment that will be left will be keratin. And remember again, in your granulosome, I said the way to remember the characteristics of the stratum granulosum is to think of the word itself, granulosum, from the word granules, right? So I said to you, you have granules in that layer, right? You have granules. What are those granules? Let me try to use a different color. I said to you, you have granules here, right? And then I said, just from this, we must remember that if they ask you, where do these granules come from? They come from lamellar bodies. You remember I told you yesterday. If you don't remember, please tell me that I don't recall. And there's no way you recall if you didn't study. So I'm not saying that if you ask me a question, you didn't study, right? If you're asking me a question, it means you studied and then you didn't understand something, of which I'm glad to help, right? I said you use this O to remember, right? Granules come from lamellar bodies. And then I said your lamellar bodies, sorry, these granules, we call them keratin hyaline granules, right? And then you also have these granules, some of them we call them lamellar bodies, and then they will release what? Your lipid. And then I said that lipid, we call it what? Glycolipid. Remember? Guys, if you don't remember, please tell me. Or if I'm telling you something new that you didn't hear yesterday, please tell me.
Yes. Sorry, could you please yeah.
One video.
Are we clear?
Yes, we're clear.
Okay, thank you. So then again, I'll repeat. The only layers that have dead cells are the first two layers. That is your stratum lucidum and your stratum corneum. The remaining three, which is your stratum basale, your stratum spinosum, and your stratum granulosum, they have cells that are alive. Are we clear?
Yes.
Nice. Now, another word that you might see, of which I don't think they'll ask you about it, but just in case, because with anatomy you must expect anything. Anything is possible. We have apoptosis, then we have what we call necrosis, right? If it's not in your textbook, I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you this because if I recall very well, I think I've been asked this question before. So we said your apoptosis is what? Is programmed cell death, right? It's programmed cell death. This one is programmed, right? Programmed meaning that it's meant to be. It's programmed. And then your necrosis, it's not programmed. Your necrosis is not programmed. This is where cancer comes from. right? Are we clear, good people?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So I'm saying that we have optosis and necrosis. Optosis is programmed cell death, which happens where? At the stratum granulosum, right? And then we have necrosis. This doesn't happen often, but if it happens, it may lead to what? To cancer. Because the not, let me do this. Sorry guys, sorry. I'm thinking about something. Okay, I'll teach you this later. Because I'll confuse you. It doesn't lead to cancer because the cells will die, right? What leads to cancer is rapid division of cells, right? Because you know that cells at this stratum basale, they undergo what? Mitosis. So if it happens that these cells undergoing mitosis, they do it like rapidly, like faster than it should be. They produce more cells than they should. That will lead to what? To cancer. But necrosis, what's dangerous about necrosis? Apoptosis is not dangerous. It's actually, guys, background. Your necrosis is unprogrammed cell death, right? It's not good for your body. Your cells can't die whereas they are not expected to. Meaning that cells might, let's say necrosis occurs somewhere here. We expect those cells to be alive, right? When they are still at stratum spinosum and stratum basale. But for some reason, it happens that those cells die here, right? That will have an impact on your skin overall, right? That will affect some mechanisms, right? Which, okay, we will talk about homeostasis because it will come to affect homeostasis in some way. I'll explain later on before we can even finish this lesson. If I forget, please tell me or remind me, because right now I don't want to be all over, right? I don't want to tell you many things at the same time. But all I was trying to do is just to explain the difference between apoptosis and necrosis, right? But mostly what you will see is apoptosis because it is applicable. It happens each and every time here. Are we clear? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And then can I erase everything? Okay, guys. Then yesterday we also, since we were speaking about skin and everything, I think there's something that I didn't tell you, or maybe I did, but I just didn't elaborate further. So yesterday we spoke about skin. Forgive me for the handwriting. And then I said to you, we have two types of skin. I said we have thin and thick. and they will ask you this question. If they don't ask you to state the difference between the two, they will give you a diagram and then ask you which type of skin is that in that particular diagram you would have been given. Guys, this thing is now limiting me. I don't know why. Sure. Jesus. Okay, guys, this is what will happen. Ne? After 10 minutes, this meeting will automatically end. Ne? Are you listening to me?
Yes, we are listening.
Yeah. So after 10 minutes, it will automatically end. And then you will come back.
Okay.
I'll either send another link on the group chat for you to rejoin, or you use the same one I'm telling you. But I'm just making you aware. I don't know why it's limiting me today. I'll check. So then let's just finish this before that 10 minutes. What do you have to understand the difference between the two? The major difference that I want you to know is that the thin skin, because remember that the thick skin, we said it's only found in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet, right? And then I said to you that your thick skin is the only one which has stratum lucida. Are we clear? Then this one doesn't have stratum lucida, meaning your thick skin has 5 layers, whereas your thin skin has how many layers? There's 4. But in all of this, what we are just speaking about, we are just referring to the epidermis, right? Because your skin is not only your epidermis, your skin consists of your epidermis as well as your dermis, right? What we are speaking about here, the stratum lucidum and those 5 layers. The 5 layers are what? 5 layers of what? Epidermis. Are we clear? Sorry. We're still on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Hello, thank you.
Repeat, please. Repeat.
What should I repeat?
Repeat from where you are explaining number of layers in each.
Yeah, on the same page.
I should repeat what?
Never mind.
Do you understand?
Yes. Continue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
I continue.
Okay.
Yes.
So another thing that you have to know, what I just spoke about here is just the difference when it comes to the layers, right? Now we continue. Your thin skin, because your thick skin is only found here, and you are quite aware that in the palms of your hand and the soles of your feet, you don't have hair, right? We are not monkeys. We don't have hair. So another difference between the two is what? Is that the thick skin is what? Is hairless. Whereas the thin skin is hairy. This, you don't have to cram these differences. It's something that is aware. It's something that you see every day. You know your skin, right? And then again, since this thick skin is found in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet only. Where is this thin skin found? The thin skin is found everywhere in your body. Everywhere in your body except the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. Right? Meaning the skin, your eyelids, your lips, everywhere, what you see is your thin skin. Right? Meaning if they ask you, maybe they ask you in an exam, the type of skin that is in your ear, the type of skin that is in your lips, the type of skin that is in your chest or elsewhere. They ask you what type of skin it is. Your question or the answer to that question is thin skin. Right? When they say type of the skin, don't say black, white, and anything. It's just thin and thick. If they don't mention palms of the hands and the soles of the feet in that question, just know the answer to that question is thin skin. Sometimes they can give you a diagram and they ask you if it's thin or thick skin, right? Okay, 2 minutes you are joining and the meeting will be ending in 4 minutes, but you'll rejoin it. So with that being said, if they give you a diagram that represents a thick skin, right? And then they ask you the next question to say, where can we find that type of the skin? You can either say the palms of the hands or the soles of the feet. Are we fine?
Yes.
Nice. Then one other thing. You remember yesterday I talked about dermal papillae. Who remembers what is dermal papillae?
Yes, I remember.
You remember? Others, do you remember?
Yes, we do remember.
Okay, nice. So what you have to know, I said the most interesting thing about the dermal papillae, I said it determines what?
The fingerprints.
The fingerprints. Awesome. So if they ask you that question, please remember that your dermal papillae is the reason why you have fingerprints, right? So your thin skin doesn't have dermal papillae. Your thin skin doesn't have dermal papillae. It lacks dermal papillae because you can't expect to have your fingerprints in your mouth. Your lips, I meant to say, right? So your thick skin is where you find your dermal papilla, right? So it means since the thin skin lacks dermal papillae, your thick skin will have dermal papillae. That is another difference. Are we clear? The last difference that you have to know between the two is that your thin skin has more sebaceous glands. Remember yesterday I said your sebaceous glands are also known as your oily glands, right? They have sebaceous glands. Guys, the meeting will end in 1 minute, right? But what I'll do, it's either we'll use the same link or I'll send another one in just less than 2 minutes in the group chat with you, because they're limiting me today. I just have to find out why today they're limiting me, because they're giving me 40 minutes. So meaning that even the next session that we join, it will only be maybe 40 minutes. And then from there, yeah. So I don't know, maybe I have to pay up or something. I'll check it. I'll check it. I'll pay if I have to. So they have sebaceous glands, and then if your thin skin has sebaceous glands, what will your thick skin have? It will have your sweat glands.
Sweat glands.
Yes. We are going to talk about glands today as well before we can even finish the entire session. Right? I'll explain. Okay, guys, the meeting will end because we are left with less than 1 minute. Right? It will automatically end. So, did you understand this before it can even end?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just prepare for it too, because I think we are only left with seconds right now. And then when we come back to the next meeting, we continue from where we left off. Right now, you know the difference between the thin and the thick skin. Then what we are going to do, we are going to continue and I'll summarize even further on the epidermis,